Hey, what's up guys? I'm BTC. Now that Sombra is on the live servers, I figured it was time to do a character review and talk about her and her strength in regard to where she is among all of the other characters in the game. So way back when we first were getting the little tips and hints about the Sombra character, the rumor mill went around and it was believed that she was going to have some sort of stealth. Now, myself and a lot of other people were worried about this because most game companies will screw up characters that have stealth. Usually, the character is either complete garbage or way too powerful. It's very rare to find a stealth character in a game that is actually properly balanced. So, I was a little bit concerned. Flash forward up to BlizzCon, and we finally got all of the details about Sombra. Her abilities, her ult, all that other sort of stuff. And I did a quick review video of the character and all of her abilities, and I thought it was going to be a really cool character. I thought that she was going to be very powerful on offense, and maybe not so much on defense. But I had made some assumptions about the character that later turned out to just not be accurate, and as a result, I need to kind of switch my opinion on the character. Now, I have a lot of experience playing Sombra from when she was on the PTR, and when they moved her over to the live version of the server, she was pretty much unchanged, and now that she's there, I've been playing the character a little bit there as well. But during all this time, I noticed that there are a lot of problems with the character. Now, when she first got announced, the knee-jerk reaction was that, oh my god, she's going to be so completely overpowered and blah blah blah. No. The thing is, she's not overpowered. In fact, she's probably weak. She probably needs... Actually, no, she doesn't probably need a buff. She does need a buff. Or at bare minimum, she needs to be reworked ever so slightly because although she is really fun to play, I think she's going to have a lot of problems finding a place in matches. So let's just go through the whole list here. Now, the first thing is she is an offensive character, but she does very low damage. In fact, the Overwatch developers have even said that we shouldn't treat her as a true offensive character, that we should treat her as if she's an offensive support, which makes me think that they could have actually put the character into the support bracket, into the support role, and it probably would have been more appropriate. Because when I first saw the demonstration of the character at BlizzCon, and I saw her left click the SMG, I thought she was going to be doing damage on about the same level as Tracer, but she doesn't. Like, she ends up doing a lot less damage than all of the other offensive characters. So she can't really be an offensive character. I mean, she can get in the back line, but it's actually fairly difficult for her to actually secure kills. Basically, the only thing she can really kill is somebody that's already quite weak. Like, she can't go after a target and kind of one-on-one the target. She basically has to be like a vulture, a hyena, kind of an opportunist, and go after the already weak gazelle, you know? Go after look for the sickly gazelle that's off in the back line of the enemy team. Go after that and kill that. And that's basically what she can do, because if she's going against other enemies that are at full health or prepared, she really can't do anything about that situation. So let's talk about her abilities now. Hack is a lot worse than I thought it was going to be, and that's because a lot of the abilities in the game that are technically passive do not get disabled by Hack. So Hack doesn't have as much usefulness as I thought it was going to be, and also it's kind of a noob trap. Now, if you don't know what that is, basically a noob trap is an ability or an item or something that looks like it's amazing and it looks like it would be really, really good to use all the time, but it's actually kind of bad. And with Sombra's Hack, I find myself doing this as well. It's a bad habit, but I see a lot of other players who also do this as well. And basically, when an enemy is in front of you, and you should be trying to left-click and just simply kill the enemy, instead of doing that, people have the bad habit of trying to hack it first and then shoot it, Whereas basically you just kill it. Just kill it and get it off the board. Send the enemy back to spawn. Don't try to hack it first and then attack it. Just straight up kill it. So hack in that regard tends to be a bit of a noob trap when really a lot of people, they'll start to hack when you should be just simply shooting instead. So using hack on players isn't nearly as good as I originally thought, but using hack on med packs is a lot better than I initially believed it was going to be. Using Sombra, you can basically deny all of the health packs around an objective, and that can be pretty powerful considering the fact that it lasts forever. Like, you hack a med pack and like you can go get a sandwich and come back and that thing is still hacked. So that's pretty powerful, and I'm actually going to talk about that a little bit later, about where she fits in a high-level play tournament setting kind of lineup. Now, as far as the teleport goes, there's really not much to say. It's a good ability. It functions pretty much exactly how I thought it was going to, and it's a really good escape ability, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much to talk about it. Now, as for invisibility, I think Blizzard did a pretty good job with their version of it. I like the fact that it gives you a speed boost so that it encourages you to actually get from point A to point B instead of like sitting in one location. Also, the fact that the duration of it isn't, too terribly long. Again, it kind of prevents you from simply like sitting invisible and waiting for enemies to come up there. That was one of my major concerns. I didn't want players who were using Sombra to basically go invisible and then just find a corner, sit, and wait while they were invisible. That was one of my biggest concerns. Now, I'm okay with Sombra losing invisibility when she takes damage. It just means that you need to use it to initiate and not to escape. So that's fine. Now, normally, stealth characters have some sort of high damage or insta-kill potential while they're invisible. Blizzard decided that they were not going to give any of that to Sombra, which is fine. But they took it way too far. So not only does she not have like a high damaging invisibility attack, but when she loses her invisibility for whatever reason, she can't attack at all. Which means that while she's kind of like decloaking, the enemy can see you, they can shoot at you, but you can't shoot back. And that I don't like at all. When you decloak, you should be able to instantly attack. I mean, the thing is, if you could instantly attack with something that would do a lot of damage, then yeah, that would be annoying and people would complain about it because nobody wants to get instantly killed by something they didn't even see. But as I talked about earlier, Sombra doesn't do any damage. She does really, really small amounts of damage. So if she could attack the moment she lost stealth or lost cloak or whatever, then it would be totally fine because she's not going to insta-kill you. It's going to take her an hour and a half to bring you from full health down to dead anyways. And now for her ultimate EMP. When I first saw this, I thought, you know what? This is crazy, crazy powerful. It very well might be a must-pick for attacking teams. Maybe not so much for defensive teams, but for attacking teams, wow, this is going to be so good. Unfortunately, there's a lot of issues with Sombra, her ultimate, and just everything all put together. So her ultimate, yeah, it's good for shutting down stuff, but the problem is Blizzard is trying to move the game away from using ultimates as much as we do. That's why they nerfed everybody. Every single character in the game had their ultimate time nerfed, so it takes longer to build an ult. So if the game is less focused on ults, what's the benefit of having a character that specializes in disabling everyone's ults? So, I mean, you could argue that maybe she can use it and it's just more potent in those situations because they are using less ults, but I just don't think that's going to be the case because, again, remember, she does really low damage. So why would you take a Sombra who does really low damage most of the time and can ult some of the time versus someone like a Pharah or a Reaper or a Tracer or something who can do high damage all the time and then use their ult some of the time? You know what I mean? So that brings us to the next part of the discussion, where does she even fit in the lineup? She's in the offensive category, but Blizzard has termed her an offensive support. So should we actually treat her as a support, or should we treat her as an offensive character? Well, we already know she can't really be an offensive character because she doesn't do any damage. And when it comes to being a support, she can't heal. Yeah, she has some cool utility, but she can't heal. And healing is the most important thing that a support can offer. I mean, that's one of the... I mean, Symmetra has a lot of problems, but one of the main reasons why the other supports are always favored over Symmetra is because they can actually heal, and Symmetra can't. So if we're going to treat Sombra like she's a support, well, she can't heal, so she's kind of in the same boat with Symmetra. Yeah, she provides some utility. She can hack the med packs, sure. I mean, that'll give you a little bit of health, but that's not like the big in-fight, middle-of-the-fight healing that you need. Now, whether we like it or not, 2 damage, 2 tanks, and 2 healers is the baseline for Overwatch. It is the strongest, most stable lineup in most situations. I know some people tried doing some different things with like the 3-3 lineup, but then Blizzard hit Ana with the nerf bat like over and over and over again, and that basically killed the 3-3 lineup. So we're back at the 2-2-2. So again, whether we like it or not, that is the lineup that we have to go with for the most part in most situations. So the question is where is Sombra going to fit in that lineup? Well, she's in the offensive category, so is she going to take one of the damage spots? But the problem is, she doesn't do any damage. She does really pitiful damage. She is the lowest of all of them. So are you really going to replace a McCree, a Pharah, or a Reaper with a Sombra? All the other characters in the offensive category do way more damage than Sombra does. Sombra doesn't bring damage to the table. She left that at home. She brings utility to the table. And even Blizzard has said that Sombra is basically an offensive support character. So are we going to not replace a damage dealer? Are you instead going to replace one of the supports? So she doesn't do enough damage, she can't heal, and she certainly can't tank. So where is she? She's this kind of weird, low-damage utility character, kind of similar to Symmetra and some of the other defense characters. And when it comes to high-level tournament play, those characters are rarely, if ever, seen. Basically, you need your damage dealers to do a lot of damage, and you need your supports to heal. And Sombra can't do any of that. So, like, where is she? So that brings us to a very weird place where her ability to deny med packs is the deciding factor. So Sombra is basically like a lawyer. So what I mean by that is lawyers are a self-replicating profession. Basically, if 2 people are having a dispute and one person decides, well, I'm going to go and get a lawyer, that means all the other people involved have to get lawyers too. In Overwatch, if one team decides that they want to run a Sombra, that kind of means that the other team has to run a Sombra too. Not necessarily for anything else other than the fact that you don't want the enemy team to deny all of the med packs around an objective. So you don't want Sombra for her damage, you don't want her for her abilities on players or her ultimate or anything like that. The main factor, as it turns out, is her ability to deny the med packs around the objective. Because if the attacking team has a Sombra, and she comes in and she starts denying up all of the med packs in the area, well, your team is now going to be at a slight disadvantage because of that. So the way to combat that is to run your own Sombra and get to the med packs first. It's almost like, if it's not lawyers, it's like the nuclear option, you know? If they have nukes, you have to have nukes. If they have a Sombra, you have to have a Sombra. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Now, for higher level competitive and tournament play, I think most established teams are not actually going to want to run a Sombra. The only time they're going to do it is in the situation that I just explained, where the other team decides that they run a Sombra, so then your team is gonna roll your eyes and fine, someone has to play Sombra to kind of counter it. And that's gonna be pretty much it. Now for low skill, average players, quick play, that sort of stuff, none of this is gonna matter. Now I like the character and I think she has a lot of potential, but she definitely needs some changes. If Sombra's going to have consistent high-level tournament play, she's going to need to be changed. And also, these changes aren't just going to help the top-end players, it's going to make it better for all of the average and low-skill players as well. So the two main changes that she needs is she needs a little bit more damage output. Just increase the amount of damage she can do, and that should be fine for that end. And the second part is the damn med pack thing. It's running at like a minute right now. That is just too long. That time needs to probably be cut in half. But that's about it. I think those two changes would do wonders for this character. Make her do a little bit more damage and cut the hack on the med packs down to like 25 or 30 seconds at most. And then she'll be a solid character. Right now, she's just kind of lacking, unfortunately. But that's going to be about it for me. Let me know what you think about Sombra. Did she meet your expectations? Is she too strong? Is she too weak? Let me know in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe because there's lots more Overwatch on the channel. Remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault.